Well, welcome everyone to this very special occasion, economic development that's taken place right here in the borough of Quakertown, Bucks County. We have some special guests with us today that I would like to introduce at this time. I'd like to acknowledge two of my colleagues from the House of Representatives, Marguerite Quinn and Marcy Toepel, and you'll be hearing from them in a few minutes. Also present today with us from Gorski Engineering, President Jerry Gorski, and Project Manager Steve Aldrich. In addition to these honored guests, we have with us from the borough of Quakertown, the Quakertown Borough Manager, Scott McElry, also Lisa Geyer, Councilwoman. We also have Tara King, Executive Director of the Upper Bucks Chamber of Commerce. We have Doug Probst, Councilman from Quakertown, Ed Shaw, Borough Economic Development Manager, Jerry Kilhefner, owner of Clover Contracting. These are the guests that are with us today. There are others, but they're here in this celebration of this very momentous occasion. This job location that we have here that is being transformed from this beautiful old building of historic brick where people for many years manufactured silk hosiery. But of course, due to the evolution of clothing, those items are no longer in demand. So what we have seen is a replacement that's going to take place over the next several weeks of high-tech jobs coming into this very building. And this is very promising for the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, because when you can provide jobs at the public sector, at the private sector rather than the public sector, you are creating wealth. And wealth is very important, obviously, for any municipality, for any state, for any nation. And this is a part of our heritage under the Corbett administration. What we've seen is that over these past 4 years, Pennsylvania has gained 127,800 jobs. That's since 2011. Also impressive is that unemployment in Pennsylvania is down 28% since 2011. State unemployment is 5.8%, which is lower than the U.S. Unemployment rate of 6.1%. The job successes that Pennsylvania has realized are not a matter of chance. New jobs have come to Pennsylvania and to Bucks and Montgomery counties because Republican House and Senate and Governor Corbett have passed laws to send out the message that job creators are welcome here in Pennsylvania. The welcome mat is out. And Pennsylvania has passed laws to preserve family businesses, especially in agriculture, to prevent double taxation of job creators, and to build roads and bridges that job creators need to do business. And that is an important consideration when one considers the past winter that we went through and so how some of our roads and bridges needed reconstruction. And the work is being done to give us an A1 infrastructure system. So, to discuss some of these laws further, I'd like to introduce my colleague, Representative Marguerite Quinn. This time, she'll come here and make remarks on the economic growth here in Pennsylvania and in Bucks County. Marguerite?
Thank you, Representative Clymer. It's a pleasure to be here in your district in Quakertown, and it's really a pleasure to be with the job creators. As I come and go from Doylestown out to Harrisburg, I drive through Quakertown. So that's typically on a Monday morning and a Wednesday evening. And little did I know, all I had to do was turn my head a little bit down 5th Street, and here was this exciting project going on. It's great as I drive through and know that the revitalization that you on the borough level, you the business creators, the job creators, you're choosing to invest here. And Paul mentioned transportation. We're so close to the turnpike. It's really a message that we've got to get out there of the wonderful access geographically, but from a workforce point of view that we have here in Bucks County. Paul has served this community for 34 years. It's tough to follow in his shoes, but he's left such a wonderful example of his dedication to the principles of job creation and his conservative principles. I have no doubt that his legacy will live on, and I'm really highly encouraged that in this building it's going to be a high-tech company, because Paul, maybe you could get a job here.
Yes, I'm qualified.
He is qualified. Well, in Bucks County, we've had over 7,600 new jobs created since 2011. And you've heard some of the statistics from Paul Clymer, but that's actually, we actually have a 30.7% decrease in unemployment here in Bucks County. In addition to the 100 new jobs that are going to be at this site, Synergist Technology is going to be adding up about 30 jobs. Also, just outside Quakertown in Richland Township, another 30 jobs are being created at Clover Contracting. Both of these projects are supporting dozens of jobs in the construction industry at Gorski Engineering. It was really encouraging for me to speak with Jerry and Steve and to hear of the local contractors that are being used here. I don't know if it's being picked up over the feed, but you hear that buzz of the saws. Usually we don't like to compete with noise like that when we're trying to give words or a speech, but in this case it's really welcome because that's great activity that's going. Over my shoulder here we've got glass doors being installed by Doylestown Glass right there in my district. I understand the roofers, the steel workers, the steel itself is all coming from the local area, and I want to applaud the fact that you're creating jobs and even the ripple effect of jobs through the community and your neighboring contractors. The work of the House is bringing about real change to the business environment, and it's yielding results in the new jobs at places, as I've mentioned, and places that we haven't mentioned, like the biotechnology field down there in Doylestown, the Baruch Blumberg Biotechnology Center, like Brad's Raw Trips, not trips, they're not raw trips, they're Brad's Raw Chips. They're in 611 in Piperstown. And I mention these because the differences in the different types of business, from biotech to high-tech to sophisticated raw chips, good healthy food, it's really exciting to see that Pennsylvania's investment to business and businesses' investment back in Pennsylvania is really coming in so many different types of industries. All of this this economic activity and job growth isn't really random. Governor Corbett came in with a strategic vision, and with help from the House and the Senate, we've been able to implement that. But without the job creators, without you, it would just be idle. We've been passing balanced budgets without tax increases. We've even cut taxes, and we've made reforms necessary to show employers that Pennsylvania is open for business, and as Representative Clymer said, and our welcome mat is out for business. Job producers like yourselves appreciate reliable, there's my favorite sound, a reliable, predictable, and responsible government. And for the last 4 years, they've had that in Pennsylvania. We've held the line on personal income taxes, corporate income taxes, and sales taxes. You have been able to predict what's going to happen with your bottom line to a certain extent where government's involved there. Speaking of taxes, this legislature and governor have recognized the importance of small family firms and family businesses by exempting them from the state inheritance tax. This is important to ensure the continuity of small businesses and the jobs that depend on them. As I said, this has all been strategically done. It's not random, and it's a vision that we'd like to continue to work towards. And with your continued help and support and your investments in our community, we'll be able to do just that. It's my pleasure to introduce a colleague just over the line in Montgomery County, in the 147th Legislative District, Representative Marcy Toepel.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Marguerite, and thank you, Representative Clymer, for inviting me here today. I didn't know about this project until about a day ago, and I got an email, and saw who was going to be here, and to my delight, I saw that Gorski Engineering was an integral part of this project, the owner. They were explaining to me and his wife Kathy about the genesis of this project, how exciting it is. So it's my pleasure to be here to take a look at this project and hear the saws and the hammers and the folks running around getting this project underway. In Montgomery County, as you can see from the graphic, we have 12,300 more jobs than we did in 2011, and unemployment has declined by almost 29%. The House has approved several pieces of legislation to level the playing field for businesses. We must continue to create an environment that is supportive of our small businesses and spearhead new initiatives designed to attract manufacturers and other businesses to the Commonwealth. There is still more work to be done, there's no doubt. Now's the time to focus on the strengths of Pennsylvania's economy for the current and future generations. The House initiated job-creating legislation last year that I was proud to support. The Innovate PA legislation allows for the state, through its very successful Ben Franklin Technology Partners, to support new high-tech startups. These are proven job creators, and those good, high-paying jobs, you might take note of that, Representative Clymer, more opportunities, which also help improve the quality of life, not only in information technology, but in the pharmaceutical industry as well. Sometimes the number of jobs created is in the dozens, as we celebrate here today. Sometimes it's in the hundreds. In Bluebell in Montgomery County, one of the largest clinical trial organizations announced early this year that it would be expanding operations to create 250 full-time jobs. Whether it's hundreds or dozens of jobs or just one new job, it impacts lives for the better. It allows a man or a woman to support themselves and their family. We do have someone here like that today who's part of this project, who works for the Gorski Engineering, and that's Mr. Steve Aldrich. I'd like to introduce Steve as a manager at one of these sites, and he's going to present to you the personal impact to him that a project like this has for him. Steve?
Thank you, Marcy. Statistically, my household back in May when Jerry hired me, we eliminated 50% of the unemployment in our family. So, not a contest, obviously. Anyway, when Jerry hired me, I was really excited. This project is a big deal. One of the things, you talk about the number of jobs that are created. For me, I think about all of the subcontractors, all of the suppliers, the sandwich shops, all of that ripple effect that you were talking about, it just rolls out from here in ways that we don't really enumerate very well, I don't think. And so for me, I'm thankful. Jerry, thank you for hiring me. Thanks for asking me to speak here, and I'm going to introduce Jerry Gorski.
Thanks, Steve. So there's been mentioned that this is an important project, and it really is. It's wonderful to take a building like this where hundreds of people worked, and we hear stories of people in the borough who worked here or their family worked here. Generations of people worked in this building, and to be able to put it back into service with 135 jobs, more when we fill the other two spaces, but that's rewarding. But I want to put things in context when we talk about job creation. In 2009, our business was off 40%. That's huge. And the main part of our business is to build buildings for entrepreneurial companies in southeastern Pennsylvania that produce things. So to think that change happened due to a crisis that wasn't created by industry, but rather a financial market unrelated to what we're doing, how do we get the wheels back on the wagon? And what is government's role in that process? So thankfully, here in Pennsylvania, we have been able to create an environment where projects like this can happen, and project like Clover's new manufacturing building a few miles down the road can happen. It takes a lot of work from the entrepreneur, but I've always said right here in Pennsylvania, we have good, bright, creative people that are willing to risk in order to produce products and innovate. We're willing to do that, but we have to have the right environment in which we can do it. One of the best resources that we have right here in the Quakertown area and other parts of Bucks County and Montgomery County is the workforce. To look at the variety of talents that we have within a 45-minute drive to this place is really what your resource is, and that's what we're capitalizing on with this project and other projects that we have in the area. And that's what gives the entrepreneur confidence that their business can work. If they get the right people, they can make it work. So what other factors affect that? Transportation. How would those people get to work? How do they get their product, whatever it is that they're producing, back out to the market? And thankfully, our representatives have worked hard to get our transportation bill passed. We're very thankful for that because that's a key ingredient. And all types of public infrastructure. Right here in the borough, they have their own electric company, water and sewer. We need to have that infrastructure in place to allow the development to happen. So government plays a huge role in any of these projects, and we're glad to have legislators in Harrisburg, local government officials that understand the components that need to come together to allow the projects to happen. The people are here, but we need to keep in mind the importance of that job creation. Our business was off 40%. Thankfully now we're back to the full number of people that we had in 2008, and our volume is where it should be. That's just getting us back to where we should be. And I think everybody would agree that both locally and statewide and even nationally, we have a lot more potential. We need to make sure that people aren't just employed, but they're employed at their top ability. So Steve, if you have any more to give, we'll take it. No, I'm kidding. But seriously, we need to make sure that we have that environment where people can really use their talents, and we need to make sure that everybody that wants to work can work. So I just want to thank the legislators who are here because obviously we're on the same page. Our local government officials and staff that allow a project like this to happen. Right here in the borough, there's other opportunities just like this, so let's keep it going. And thank you all for coming out, looking at our project. We'll be glad to have you back after this space is finished in a few more weeks. And I know there's a number of events planned later in the year, open houses for the community and those type of things, so we'll be glad to have you back. Thank you.
Thank you, Jerry. We'd like to hear, we want to hear from a few more of our special guests, and representing the Quakertown Borough is Councilwoman Lisa Geyer. Lisa?
Thank you, Representative Clymer. I would also like to begin by thanking Representatives Clymer, Representative Quinn, and Representative Toepel for creating an environment where a project like this can exist. Their hard work is not going unnoticed here in Quakertown, and we are very excited to do everything we can to take advantage of the environment they're creating. I would like to congratulate Gorski Construction for this fabulous project. I believe that it is going to be one of the most beautiful buildings that we have here in Quakertown. And with that being said, not only is Pennsylvania open for business, Quakertown is open for business. This project is projected to create in excess of 135 high-tech jobs, and we are just ecstatic and thrilled that they're going to be here with us in Quakertown. Additionally, this is the first commercial project, I believe, to take advantage of the LRTA program, which is the Local Economic Revitalization Tax Assistance Program, and we are very grateful that we have it locally here with us. In closing, I just want to say again that the borough is committed to continuing to promote economic development, and we're very excited for the future opportunities here. Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa. Another local employer who has done wonderful work throughout Bucks County, Montgomery County, and I guess across southeastern Pennsylvania is Jerry Kilhefner, and he is president of Clover Contractors and has a project underway. So, Jerry, we'd like to hear from you. A few remarks, please.
Thank you, Paul. I'm very pleased to be here. I have very deep roots in Upper Bucks County in Quakertown. I was born here. I was raised here. I went to school here. And I was fortunate enough to be able to grow a very nice business here as well. Since the depths of the recession, we're responsible for about 40 of those jobs coming back to Bucks County and 40 of those 100 and some thousand that Paul mentioned from the state. Right at the depths of the recession, I went out on a limb and we started a new business here in Upper Bucks County where we're commercial contractors primarily. That's how we started. But we started a manufacturing process where we pre-manufacture construction components that go to a lot of our projects. That part of the business has really taken off, and we've outgrown the 22,000 square foot building that we built several years ago, so we're starting a 32,000 square foot building that's underway right now. That building will bring another 30 plus jobs to Upper Bucks County, and the products that are made there will go all over the eastern United States. We have a tremendous location advantage here in Upper Bucks County in that within a 6-hour drive, we can be from Boston to Pittsburgh and all the way down below Washington, D.C. And that's where our products are going to end up. So thank you for having us. I'm glad to be part of this project and glad to be invited today. And thank you.
Does the Executive Director of the Upper Bucks Chamber of Commerce like to say a few words in closing the program? No? Okay. All right. Tara King is, well, I'm sure you are, but we do thank you for your participation as well, because the Chamber plays also an important role in the economic development of any area, in this particular case, Upper Bucks. Well, that concludes our program for today. It's been an exciting one. It's one where we can be encouraged. We can show the optimism as businesses begin to grow, sprout its wings, and it's helpful to the state not only in jobs but in the tax revenue that we get back from growth, and it also provides a vision for the young people. The criticism is that, well, from people who are young people graduating from high school or from college saying there's no jobs in Pennsylvania, where can we go? You've heard this afternoon that there is great opportunity. Though we're centered in Upper Bucks today, this is the kind of events that are taking place across Pennsylvania. So again, thank you everyone for participating in today's program, and thank you for attending. Have a good day.